Okay. Hello, this is coming from Stoughton Media Access Corporation. We're here at the Martin Luther King celebration by the Stoughton Diversity and Inclusion Committee and the Stoughton Clergy Association. Michael, you were the keynote speaker today, and fantastic as always.
Thank you.
It's not
Thank
even a
you.
question. Can you elaborate on what Dr. King means to you in this time as we're going through things going on in Washington and here in Boston as well?
Yeah, it's a reminder. Dr. King's work is really a roadmap for the rest of us who are dealing with inequities today, with racism, as to how you do it. And his message of nonviolence resonates today around appealing to people's consciousness and their moral compass. So I think the work that we have as younger leaders, as folks who are engaged in social justice today, is to really share his message. You don't have to do much other than share his words.
Right.
And people get it. So I think, the goal of the program today I thought was excellent, sharing people's personal stories, their family stories, hearing from the young people who reintroduced us to some civil rights giants that people don't even know about. I'm just honored to be here.
Well, Michael, we're happy to have you here in Stoughton. Certainly like to get you on the program.
Would love to be on the program.
The state station manager's here, so I can definitely put a plug in to do that very, very soon.
I have to pay recognition to you, though, because I think people don't know when we talk about unsung heroes that you were president of NAACP during one of the most turbulent times in Boston. So I think me and others always lift your name up in the work that you did, and I'm proud to follow in your footsteps.
Well, Michael, thank you for that. My mother will definitely love that. But in terms of I will see you soon and looking forward to the convention.
Excellent.
Later in the year.
Excellent. Sounds
okay,
good.
Take care.
Thank you.
We have more persons that we're going to be giving some interviews with. I have an opportunity to have my senator, Senator Walter Timilty, here with me. He has been a supporter of this program from its inception. I think we're in 3 years into this, and I'll have soon to have Deborah Roberts come forward. But Senator, let's talk about what Dr. King means to you as you are now serving in the state legislature and putting forth some great legislation. What does Dr. King mean to you?
Joe, thank you very much. Well, first of all, one of Dr. King's lofty quotes once said, life's most enduring and persistent question is, what are you doing for others? And I think we answered that question loud and clear here in Stoughton today. Under the leadership of Deborah and the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, we highlighted various wonderful works. As Michael Curry just alluded to, Dr. King created a great roadmap for how to live one's life. We saw that today in Stoughton.
Well, the interesting part about me, I have a long history with the Timilty family, going back to your uncle and all. The Timiltys have been instrumental in government and in dealing with communities for years. And in terms of, and your continuation of that, you've had folks who have been senators, you have been folks who have been on the governor's council, you have had folks who have been in almost every facet of government here, and we're pleased to have you as our leader here in Stoughton as well.
Well, thank you very much, Joe. It's an honor to work for the people of Stoughton. My Uncle Joe once said of you that we're family.
That's right.
So
he definitely did say that.
You're stuck with me, Joe.
No, that's right.
But it's an honor to be here today with my district director, Keisha Adakwa, and Ted Phillips from Lou Kafka's office, and of course Rep. Galvin was here earlier.
Right, and I'm going to bring Ted on, but in a moment. But I'm going to bring one of the impresarios of today's event has been Deborah Roberts, as you alluded to. So, Senator, it's great having you here today. Thank you for supporting this from its inception, and thank you for representing Stoughton so well.
Joe, it's an honor to be a friend, and it's an honor to work for the people of Stoughton.
All right, Senator.
And Deborah, thank you to the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. Thank you so much.
I called you the impresario, and I know from the inception of this and putting together the Stoughton Diversity and Inclusion organization, and that in itself was a feat. And the efforts to bring this forward, you have taken this program, which I know the Stoughton clergy did it many, many years. They used to have primarily in terms of the pantry and some good works, but you have now taken this program, you and your committee and the folks there have taken it there. Give some thoughts as to, one, what you thought about from its inception, what you thought about today, and what are some of your thoughts for the future?
Well, we had always envisioned the Martin Luther King Day of Service being expanded to include a lot more community. And by community, it's collaboration with various organizations, bring everyone out, get everyone involved. So we started small with the Clergy Association, and the Clergy Association and the Stoughton Diversity and Inclusion Organization worked together to talk about a plan, talk about our vision. And this is what it has come to. It is so wonderful. This morning we started out at the Immaculate Conception Church on Canton Street. We had more of a, I would call it a spiritual service. Then we had a march, well, we call it a procession. We had a procession led by Chief Donna McNamara and ended with
The fire
the
chief.
fire chief, yes, Laracy. And we marched and we sang songs, and then when we arrived, there were others that were here, and it was a great event. And everyone brought a different perspective to Dr. Martin Luther King's message, and we are so thankful for that.
And I would just want to say, it's been about, this event this afternoon, about 2.5 hours, and I can assure you, it felt like 10 minutes. That's how good it was.
Oh, thank you for
So
saying
I just
that.
want to be able to say that, I mean, all the pieces have come together. I
Yes.
wish you and your committee and the SCIO, all the plaudits that they should receive for such a great event that they've had
Thank you
today.
so much, Joe. Thank
Okay.
you.
And I want to bring a young person in here for a moment. He spoke earlier, and I want to give him an opportunity because part of Dr. King's message always is our responsibility as adults to take care of our young people. And so, you're a young man. I believe you're in high school.
Yeah.
You're in high school. So, what did you learn, or what do you feel about this day about Dr. King?
Sorry. I learned that Dr. King's word could be processed in a lot of different ways, and it just depends on every single person's different view. Like, is basically all the basis is unity, no matter what. Like, no matter what divides us in your point of view, like whether it be your religion, whether it be your skin, the color of your skin, it's always that. The basis of it is always that. Every day, you should see someone and find them as like your companion and your brother, no matter who they are or what they look like or their past or their future.
So, as Michael Curry said, you have your moral compass intact. Would that be a correct statement?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Tell us who you are.
I'm Emmanuel White, and I go to Stoughton High School. I'm in 10th grade.
All right. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. You did a great job today. Yeah. Since I'm in the Greek world, I have to bring my persons, I have one of the sororities represented here, Alpha Kappa Alpha, woo-woo, ski-wee, I know what it is. But why don't you introduce yourself and also talk about what this day meant for you? AKA participated today, but you have a long history. You're 100 years like my fraternity, Omega Psi Phi fraternity. So introduce yourself, but as well, talk to them about AKA and also your involvement today.
Absolutely, and thank you very much. So Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated was the first sorority founded by and for Greek letter college-educated women, Afro-American college-educated women. It began in 1908 at Howard University, and the purpose really was, as our motto then as it is today, service to all mankind. And if you think about it, when those women founded this sorority, they were only one generation removed from slavery. So it would have been just unthinkable for their grandmothers, even their mothers, to think about them going to college and majoring in Greek and Latin and looking to give back. So that tradition of Black Greek letter organizations continues to this day, giving back as a way to be able to say, someone helped us, someone gave me an opportunity, and it is only incumbent upon us as what's called the Divine Nine, representing the Greek letter organizations of Afro-Americans, that is only incumbent upon us to give back. And I will say, unlike other times people hear about college fraternities and sororities, some of my friends who are not Afro-American, they're surprised, if you will, that I'm still involved. But that's because Afro-American Greek letter organizations, they continue for life. You're expected to give service to your community for life. So this was just one example of us being able to do this. And I really want to thank my sorority sister, Barbara Marshall, who's on the committee, for letting us know about this event and inviting me to be here. And that's where the Birmingham Letters, which were mainly my family, but that's all right. They understand what it means to serve. And then I also want to thank Deborah, who I've known for a long time, about just making sure that everyone got a chance to have a voice.
And one more reason why you're involved, because you're young, gifted, and Black.
Absolutely. Well, the gifted and Black, young young is all a matter of state of mind. Depends on how much embalming fluid you drink each day. Amen.
The other thing is you haven't told the audience who you are.
Yes, well, I am Jacqueline Jones, and I am a lifelong Brockton resident mainly, although I grew up in Roxbury too, same development where Michael Curry described that he grew up in. But when I lived in Atlanta for the last 10 years, and I know Mr. Feaster, Attorney Feaster, because we went to Northeastern's law school together, and he, along with some other mentors, were able to sort of shepherd our freshman class. They were only 1 year ahead of us. They were able to sort of shepherd us into what the world meant. And looking at law, one reason why I went into the law, in the African community, they typically, before drug dealers and before rappers, the two most powerful people in the African community were preachers or lawyers. And as Martin Luther King described, preachers appeal to people's heart to do right. Lawyers can make them do right whether they have a good heart or not. So that is what attracted me. But it has kept me. I am no longer practiced formally. I'm involved in education, which I look at is practicing law on the front end because I save people from making bad decisions.
Well, my, I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you. Good to see you here.
Very good to see you again as well.
Thank you for being here in Stoughton. Glad to see the pink and green wherever I see it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Let me bring, I want to bring Ted Phillips up. Ted Phillips has been the aide to both Representative Kafka and to Representative Galvin. And I'm just going to put the plug in. He's running for state representative now because Lou Kafka has decided he's going to retire. And please give the representative my best, and hopefully I can get him on my program soon. You as well as I mentioned about the senator, have been here right from the inception from 3 years ago. What does Dr. King mean to you in the life that you do? Because you've been up on the Hill as well.
Well, Dr. King to me is really, in my mind, an American Moses. You know, he's somebody who came out and at the outset of the civil rights movement gave us a vision of a promised land of equality and justice that we need to work for every day. And so when I think of Dr. King, I think of inspiration. As you can tell, I'm partial to the mountaintop speech that he gave right before his passing. But the words that he carried and the words that he carried us with are words that we need to take very seriously, especially in this day and age. When I'm up on Beacon Hill working for those two principles of equality and justice, Dr. King is always on my mind, and I'm forever grateful for that.
Well, you have been a great example of that. I've had an opportunity to observe you not only the past 3 years of here, but through my 21 years here now in Stoughton, but also, you know, at a time I was up on the Hill, and you were probably a young man
right.
at that particular point in time, but you're still doing good work, and I'm glad to be a friend of yours.
Thank you, Joe. very
Okay,
much. I'm
take
honored.
care and good luck on the election.
Appreciate you.
I have some of our school committee members here as well, and I'm, going to bring them forward as well. You know, we talk about education. That was part of what Dr. King talked about. And in terms of in fact, I'm having the fortune to have two. This goes a double bang. So my thing, I'm not even going to try in terms of, I know the school committee, I want you to introduce yourselves, and then I also want you to talk about what does Dr. King mean to each of you, and particularly this program, because both of you have been here the 3 years as well since the inception of this program. So, school committee woman Gropey, I'm going to give you a Groppy. I always forget you. You always to correct me, and that's why I didn't want to. I didn't want to do it myself. So
I love you. I love you. I don't mind.
It's all about the love.
It is. That's what today was about.
It's all about the love. Okay.
Yeah,
So. So why don't you do the proper introduction
Okay.
of yourself, and as well just to tell them what Dr. King and this day means to you.
All right. Well, hi, everyone. I'm Sandra Gropey. I'm the current chair of the school committee. Today was my first time attending this event, and I think it meant more than, there were so many different messages, and for me, I thought coming here it was to celebrate his birthday, and it meant so much more. There were speeches that were spoken about even immigrants that was brought up coming to the country, and, fairness and equity and amongst everyone, and just how the country is today. And we look at students that we have in the school system, and they go through that. They go through having families that have immigrated here and having issue, and me coming from that myself with my parents immigrating here. It was something to resonate with everyone, but also the freedoms that we have in this country. we all appreciate them. And that was another message I think that was heard loud and clear to Dr. King. When he spoke and what he spoke for was not just for one people, it was for all people. And that was the message I think that hit at the end for me. That was the biggest piece, and that meant a lot.
Well, I'm glad to have a former chair of the Stoughton School Committee here. I never ever let you get away without speaking here. So I'm going to shift. I know you just love. I know you just love to be on air. But in terms of, you can do the introduction, and I'm going to ask you the same question. Okay. What do you take away from Dr. King's birthday, his life, his legend, as well as this program today?
Well, I'm Katie Pina Anokian, and I am the best member. I'm on the school committee, and I just wanted to say that today was so uplifting. I mean, we heard from all the speakers, keynote speaker. My breath was just taken away. But to have all the community speakers come, you really got that sense of togetherness, that we all want to work together, that we're really trying to make Stoughton a better place, working as a community, as one. It was really, I don't even know how to say it. It's moving. Yeah. It's a very moving time right now, and
yeah. Well, I was taken aback by the number of people who were here, and particularly those community voices. It brought in all aspects, all dimensions of this community, from young, old, religious, and it just was a great time in order to, and like I said earlier, that even though it was 2.5 hours, it felt like 10 minutes because it was riveting and it kept you, engaged and informed. So in terms of, again,
the stories were incredible. Like I can't even get over. I really enjoyed myself. The young kids that came in today.
Yes.
I mean, when I was young, when we had a day off, there's no way I'd go back to school.
Yeah, you wouldn't go back.
I would not have taken the time to go back to school. And for what they did come because they wanted to come, and you could tell.
Well, it definitely was, and as always, thank you for your service. Each of you have served quite some time now on the school committee and are doing extraordinary work there. And I'd say anyone who wants to run for elective office, I have the highest regard for you, for sure. And folks don't understand. And what Michael Curry said about the NAACP, your jobs are unpaid as well. Yeah. So it's a service to our community. I want to thank you for it.
Thank you.
Okay.
You do a lot for this community as well.
Well, I'm going to keep on doing, but I'm not going to run for anything but cover. That's all I'm going to run for.
If you see me running, pick me up because I'm running from someone.
So wait, can we go first? Can we do a question to you?
Yes.
All right.
Always.
Microphone, please. First, we'd like him to introduce himself, and then my question to you is going to be, all the young students and children that were here from the community, was it amazing to see not only the artwork that they created within the schools, but those young students that got the awards and came up and talked about community in those boxes? What could you see students or kids of the community getting more involved with?
You would think that I set you up for that, Madam Chairperson. Well, that's okay. I'm never lost for words. Joseph Feaster, and I live here in Stoughton. What impressed me about, I believe in volunteerism. That has been in my blood, all along. And what I saw from the students here, and what was most important to me was taking the initiatives themselves, particularly around the food pantry. In terms of the food, there are a number of different things can occur in this town. I can recall interviewing a young man who was an Eagle Scout, and what the Eagle Scouts and what they may do in terms of in scouting. We had a young woman here who was with the Girl Scouts. They took on the initiative. There was a young lady that decided to go ahead and to work with some of the businesses here in order to address the food pantry. Food challenges that people are having are real. It's happening here. We have the opioid epidemic that's going on here. We have beautification of Stoughton are issues that folks and businesses can take on. So I think that there are a number of different things that young folks are doing, and because of the leadership and what you're providing as school committee members in our schools, in our schools. I mean, that again, you're coming up soon to town meeting. You're going to be talking about a budget for the school system. We're standing in this beautiful auditorium because of the work of the entire community did. But it still takes leadership on the part of the school committee and the school administration. So I hope that the young people here, while they've taken some initiatives, they also learning by seeing and doing what we as adults are leading them as well. So I think that the way that we can do it is we have to, as they say, pay forward. That's my new belief. We got to pay forward in the sense that we can provide for those who are going to come after us. And these young people, obviously we're doing a good job because we saw a lot of young people here today. And as you said, we may not have decided to come on our day off, but they were here, they were committed, they were participating. So, Madam Chair, for me, these young folks did a great job. All right?
Thank you. And
all right.
Great
yeah,
talking to you,
thank
as
you.
always.
As always. Steve Tapper is also part of the Stoughton Diversity Inclusion Organization. Thank you for your talent as a musician. You always participate in this program from its inception. And what you did as far as the Alabama was absolutely great today. Talk to us about Dr. King's legacy and what it means to you, Steve.
I almost don't specifically think of Dr. King. I think of the whole era, whole civil rights era, and the whole era was meaningful. I don't want to put all the energy on one person.
Mm-hmm.
The whole, living through that whole era was formative for everything I believe in.
Well, that's an important statement that in terms of, and it concretizes going all the way back from the 1950s all the way through to the present, that we're still living through the civil rights era, to be honest.
You know, I think it's important to recognize how much progress has been made, because then you can make more progress instead of assuming no progress has been made. It's not the same.
That's true. That's correct.
As difficult as things are, they used to be worse.
Amen to that. Well, Steve, thank you so much.
Thank you
for
very
your
much.
participation in this, for sure. You know, just listening and learning, about you, one being a Stoughton High graduate, 1981, I think you said?
Yes.
1981, having worked for the town, the injury sustained, but you still have the spirit in order to do what you're doing as far as you're participating in all types of sports. So why don't you tell folks what is giving you the inspiration, and to what extent does Dr. King's legacy inspire you as well?
Well, Dr. King, if you think of Dr. King, he's always wanted to get people together. It didn't matter what color they were. It didn't matter which background. Whatever means he had to do it in the way that he did it, non-violently, was amazing. For me, being able to play these sports and to be able to participate in them is a blessing to me, because I get just as much out as the other individual does. And to be able to share with others, which we end up opening the doors for others behind us who are coming back from the wars, who've maybe be sitting at home going, wow, can I go do that?
Right.
Is that possible? Or they look at their kids and they go, my kids? Could they do this? 25 years old, my oldest son, he graduated from Harvard, UCLA, and University of Florida.
All right.
My daughter graduated from Brown University. My youngest one graduated from Tufts. Was it all a special magic that I had? No. It was that I took the time to know them and them to know me and to nurture them the best way I can. As a father, they don't come with a manual.
That's right.
So you just do the best that you can. So if you have examples like Dr. King, and you have examples like my mom, very strong, compassionate woman, 12 of us.
Right.
Jason.
Yeah. Well, the thing I'm going to do, and I know that our time is winding down here, Juan, and I'm going to end with you. This has been an extraordinary day. You told an extraordinary story. I am in Stoughton now. I didn't know of you. I'm glad to have met you today, and that's part of what Dr. King's message was, that we all are connected in some type of way. We have a moral compass in which we have to follow, and it appears that you have done that. I want to thank the staff of the Stoughton Media Access Corporation for filming all of the festivities today, and this opportunity to speak to some of our town folk and participants in this program. today. Particularly want to thank Deborah Roberts, the Stoughton Diversity Inclusion Organization, and the Stoughton Clergy Association for such a fine day of events today.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Juan.
you so much.